a little show today whilst I'm in the car. Obviously concentrating on the road, so don't worry too much about all that stuff. Driving with JB as it was. So let me know in the chat. I'm not going to be able to really respond to your chat today, because obviously that would be irresponsible of me. So let me know in the chat today. Let me know how you're doing. We are, what are we today? We are Saturday the 20th of September. This week is going extremely quickly. So let me know how you're doing in the chat. Let me know what you're going to be doing about the game today. Are you going to be watching the game? Where are you going to be watching the game from? I'm going to be watching the game. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do a watch along today, just on the basis that I've got other things going on today, which are take precedence over a United game. But I will be doing my my match reaction after. So yeah, so I'll probably be doing that this afternoon after the game. So yeah, so sadly no watch along today. There might be, but it really does depend basically on what is going on. So do let me know in the chat how your day is going. So what I wanted to basically talk about today, and this is coming from a very good source. So Jacobs Ben, obviously Ben, who is a regular on the United Stand, Talk Sport correspondent as well, and a really good guy. He knows his stuff, really good on the Qatar stuff as well. So we're talking about a guy who absolutely knows his stuff. So what I wanted to talk about today really this morning, and get your opinions in on this. So if you have just joined, probably won't be a watch along today for this game, because I do have other things going on in the background today, but I will be doing my match reaction later on this evening. So I will be watching the game, getting your predictions of the game today. Obviously I'm not going to be able to answer I'll try to read out as many comments as I can. I probably won't be able to do that, obviously, whilst I'm in the motor vehicle. This is more of a me just talking, so please feel free to get in your comments in your chats today. So Jacobs Ben, obviously on X, that's how he does his name. What's good, JB? Scott, always in the chat, always first, always on time. Legend of this chat already. So Ben, so Jacobs Ben, check him out on X, because that's his name, but his first name is Ben. Hi, I probably won't be able to read the chats. Any jobs in the house, you'll know the one. Okay, are you going to fetch a Nana? No, I'm not. So I won't probably be able to read the chats, but I really wanted to get this out there today, because I think this is really important. So we are Amorim in and out in this fan base. I do think that we should absolutely be thinking about this. So, and this is coming from a very good source that basically said that Amorim, yeah, you're right, Amorim is not going to change his tactics. So for those of you who are Amorim out, I want you to understand this, that Sir Jim, the guy who has no understanding about football, who was exposed yesterday accidentally by Jason Wilcox, who basically said that when he came to the club there was no cohesion, there was no link basically between the football inside, which is disgusting, the CEO, the owners, the players and the academy. So that's the first thing to know. Now Sir Jim is going to get involved, hence that's why he was talking about the Champions League, and he thinks this squad can get into the Champions League. Furthermore, Sir Jim wants Southgate. Now this has come from a good source, and pretty much it is a case of Sir Jim wants Southgate. Now this is what I mean about Amorim outers really need to be careful what they wish for, because ultimately this is where we are heading. Sir Jim is He wants a UK manager. He wants somebody who's proven. Now, Gareth Southgate is not proven in the Premier League. Middlesbrough, when he managed them, he managed to take them down. Obviously, what I'm going to ask the mods to do in the chat, because I can't pretty much read out or respond to the chats right now, is that if you can remove any chats that are not good, I would much appreciate that. So, just on my way out today, I'm basically going to pick up my daughter today. So, you know, hence that's why I'm on the road. Normal life takes over, and as I say, get your chats in, get comments in today. So if you can get into the comments section, let me know your comments today, and I pretty much will reply. So we're on the road with JB and the United Devil channel today. So this is coming from a very, very, very good source. Get your comments in, discuss it in the chat. Sir Jim Ratcliffe, in my opinion, INEOS, you know, so some of you guys love INEOS as well, which is fine. One of the things I will say in here is that I am not a, exactly my friend, exactly John Fire, is that I'm not a dictator of this chat. I respect your opinions. Normally I would read your opinions out, but I absolutely respect your opinions on this. Now, you lead it, you get into the chat, talk amongst yourselves. Now, I think we need to realise that if you are hammering out, realistically, and this has come from, again, from a good source, check him out, Jacob's Ben at on X. Ben is on the United stand, he is on TalkSport, you know, so, and this has come from him, that basically Sir Jim wants Southgate. Is absolutely, and I'll come on to that as well. So Sir Jim wants Southgate, and absolutely is just scary. So for those of you who are hammering in, if you think it's bad now, if Southgate comes into the squad, and I'm going to say this, I will back managers, I will back players as much as I possibly can. If Southgate comes into the squad, I'm Southgate out straight away, which is a hypocritical thing. I'm from Essex, in England. If Southgate becomes the manager of this side, and I'm going to be a little bit of a hypocrite here, I am Southgate out. Southgate is not a club manager. If you think the football is bad now, you may get a bounce, but he will absolutely bring Rashford back. And I know Rashford, and I'll give you my opinion on that. So many of you love him, I get it. The problem is that Rashford, I think Amorim made the right decision on that, on the basis that sometimes you have to let players go because they're not happy at the club. So I think Amorim has done the right thing on the basis that Rashford is going to get his head down. And maybe he'll get his. Amorim wouldn't play Bruno every game. He would, mate. He would. I disagree with you. Southgate would toe the line. Southgate would be a party line. Now, when we're talking about, you know, INEOS are the shield of the Glazers, Southgate would be the shield of INEOS. Southgate would be another shield. So when we're talking about layers, and we're talking about layers of this football club, right, Southgate would absolutely be a company man. He would absolutely put, he would play all of his favourites. He's done it for England. If you think Amorim is bad, Southgate will be absolutely horrendous, and it would go south very, very quickly. However, Sir Jim, now back to Rashford, is absolutely the correct thing. Rashford now looks like he's enjoying his football again. I've got no problem with it. I really hope he goes on and becomes this world-class winger. Is good for all parties. He will have cash in the bank again. You know, I think it's good. So I don't want Rashford back. You know, he doesn't want to come back. So I think he's absolutely gone. So this new Gareth Southgate link is terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying for me, get into the chat. Let me know if you think Southgate is good enough for the club. Let me know, would you support him? Would you be instantaneously Southgate out? I'm going to be a hypocrite, right? I want managers to do well. Also, for example, I don't particularly like Luke Shaw. I think he's done. It's nothing against the person. I just don't think he's at it anymore. It's not necessarily his fault in terms of, we've seen the character of Luke Shaw. Dusty. So for me, it's a no, and I just cannot get behind Southgate. If you think that it's bad now, Southgate coming into this club is absolutely horrific. So let me know in the chat. Let each other know. Not freaky. I'm a United fan. This is a United fan channel. I try and stream it ever I can. So I saw this news today. I absolutely could not let this go with that coming on and doing some sort of stream. So one of the problems for me with Southgate is, and I'm normally either-handed from a logical perspective, Southgate is just turgid football. If you want that boring sort of defensive, if we're all about, well, we should be. We're all about, exciting football, right? Amorim will bring that into this club at some point. If you want pragmatic, if you want safe football, if you want a boring draw every game, if you want boring wins, even if we're winning, it will be boring football. It will be like England, the fact that they bore themselves into a semi-final or final. And I know some people may be glazed over this, the fact that England reached the final, but again, he's favourite FC. And again, when I say this is the sort of only reason why I'm not coming back on the chats, because again, I think it's really important for you to get your opinions across. I'm not saying that you're wrong if Southgate is the guy for you and you're happy with that. Absolutely no issue whatsoever. But for me, in my opinion, it will be a disaster. He would be a shield for INEOS. He would be an INEOS puppet. And the problem with that is that he would be happy. Whatever decisions that are made, whatever he's told to do by Sir Jim, would absolutely, we do need a manager who is different. We need a manager who will not always toe the party line. What I like about Amorim, what I really, really like about him, is this ability to speak his mind. Now, I think he tries to be shackled at times, but he's a very emotional guy. Not freaky Messi or Ronaldo. Again, I've got a really, really simple answer to this. Lionel Messi is a gift. He is an absolute genius. He's a naturally talented footballer, and Cristiano is the epitome of hard for such a long time. Is because are you on a run? And when you're in a car, as when you're in a car, is obviously the signal will drop slightly. So I am back. So again, feel free to get into the comments. Tell me Southgate. So just to let you know that there are, from a full source, Sir Jim wants Southgate. Sir Jim is all about English players. He's all about that. English players, English managers, this obsession with English coaches. So Sir Jim is absolutely all over this Southgate. Now let me know in the chat if you think Southgate will do something. But again, Bobby, hello my friend. Now one of the problems that I've got with Sir Jim and that scattergun approach, if he goes back to a back four, right? So what the plan would be is that Sir Jim would happily bring in a manager who plays one style of football. Now I'm not saying that Amorim is the answer, but they decided that they would go with this back three and these wingers, right? But Sir Jim, again, the scattergun approach, and the reason why it doesn't work at Nice is because, again, very much firing managers, changing the system. You can't spend a year trying to teach these players a back three, playing Amorim's the system, and then go back to playing a back four again. Now, I'm not against a back four, but again, this scattergun approach, and we're going to end up like Nice. If people think this is bad now, you will see an absolute going back to this back four. You know, he's not attacking enough. You know, he'll just be giving players. You know, Amorim, for all his faults, you know, Amorim wants to play a certain style of football. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that, my friend. Absolutely fantastic mod is Scott. Now, one thing I will say, get into this chat. Be respectful to the chat. If you're not, thank God you're in the car. Ceiling has caused many sleepless nights. So, what I'm going to say is that be careful. Get into the chat. Be respectful in the chat. You know, trolls will be removed. You know, there's absolutely no point in trying to troll this community. I have absolute amazing mods. They are fantastic. They are amazing. So big up to the mods and a big thank you to the moderators in here today. They are the best. Let me know your thoughts on the score today. I'm probably not going to do a watch along today. I have duties to perform. I may do one, but I would definitely tonight do a reaction. And again, I'm prepared for you guys to come into the reaction tonight. Let me know. Get into the chat now. So the things that I want to know from you guys, whether you're new to the channel or not, is let me know what you think the score is going to be today. Let me know so the topics today, Southgate, whether you think Southgate, and this is coming from a very, very credible source, is that Sir Jim wants Southgate, and Southgate will probably be the likely replacement for these players. You know, Sir Jim clearly wants a manager who's going to toe the party line, and Southgate is a politician. So let me know in the chat whether would you be happy with Southgate. You know, do you think he would come in, and do you think he'd be able to win the Premier League? I absolutely demand that we win the Premier League. Any coach that comes in. What do you think about switching the system from a back three to a back four again? Let me know about what you think about that. Do you think that we're going to win today? Who do you think that's going to be in the squad today? Do you think he's going to play Bruno at 8? I think he will. I think he's very, very stubborn. I think Bruno Fernandes plays at 8 again. As I've said many times on here, is that he's going to live and die on that hill. He's going to live and die on the decision of Fernandes, and Fernandes is being very, very petulant himself. Fernandes is very, very stubborn. So I think that they're very, very similar, and I don't think that that's right. They always clash. I think you're right. I do think I think that Garnacho will absolutely start this game. Absolutely. If he scores today, what I want to see today, and this would be the ultimate kick in the face for me, is if that little I'm trying to be kind, you know, he is a kid. Whether the mercenary scores today and what he does, do you think we'll win the Premier League based on the matches till now? No, I don't. We are not in any position to win the Premier League. Now, I demand Premier League every single season. Not because I'm an idiot, some of you may think I am. Not because I'm a fool, just because I think that is basically. So the score prediction for tonight, I think it's a draw. It depends on the Chelsea. Now, where I think that we can have absolute joy is Chelsea's back four is shit, and I don't care what anyone says. Their midfield 2 or 3 I think are brilliant. You know, Enzo and Caicedo, brilliant. The problem is they're going to run through and smash our midfield. Defensively, I think Chelsea are shit. I don't rating them at all against West Ham. I've seen them a couple of times. I don't think that back four is good. So I think, depending on who he plays, and I'll give you my prediction of a team as well. I think we draw. I think that we don't have enough protection. If Garnacho scores today, and one of the things that's going to piss me off, and I'll tell you why, is that if Garnacho scores against us and he goes running, celebrating like he's won the World Cup, then we absolutely have to crunch. We've got to crunch the little fucker. I'm not a big fan of injuring the players. I don't want to injure him. I just don't think that's very nice. I don't agree with hate. I'm not hating on him, but I think if he scores and he runs away like he's won a World Cup, and he scores the winner, that will absolutely be a kick in the face. If these players don't put a tackle on him, these players need to put one on him. There needs to be no respect. If he does score or he celebrates as if he's won the World Cup, I will lose ultimately respect for Fernandes. I want to see Fernandes lay one on him today. I want to see these players, just absolutely make his life hell today. I absolutely agree with you, Felix. I think I do care, but as long as we get a performance today and Garnacho doesn't score, I'd be happy with it. Well, I wouldn't be happy because he needs a win, but I could live with it a little bit if we draw today and Garnacho. And that's exactly, Scott. There are two things for me today. If Garnacho scores and he runs away like he's won the World Cup, I want these players to put one on him. These players need to today. There's no respect. If he shows no respect for these clubs, and these players do not step up today, I will be proved right on the mentality of these players. I'm not saying injure the kid. He's still a kid. But what I mean is he absolutely has to know that he's no longer part of this club, and these players are not his friends anymore. It is. They're all mates. They're all football friends. Oh, football friends. Oh, we all love friends. Oh, football friends. No. Absolutely have to let him know that he's left this club. He's disrespected these clubs, and it's up to Bruno Fernandes that he needs to lead this team today. He needs to come out and he needs to be fighting. Bruno's going to play at 8 today, so I'll give you my prediction for the team today. He's going to have a problem. Mason Mount is fit again. Mbumo's fit, so I think he'll start as a 10. I think Mason Mount starts as a 10, and I think that Cunha starts. I think Šeško gets dropped to the bench. I think Bruno plays as an 8. I think Casemiro plays in there as well. I think Dorgu plays on the left. Mazraoui plays on the right. Luke Shaw, De Ligt, and Yoro. That's what I think. Absolutely think it. Randy, so for me today, I want to see our performance. The Southgate news, has it rocked me? I wouldn't say rocked. I'd say I'm very, very disappointed. The fact that this has come out from a credible person. This is not an indicator, nonsense piece, because they talk out their arse as well. This is a legitimate source that Southgate is the one that Sir Jim wants, and it's terrifying. It absolutely terrifies me. Are you happy with our defence? I'm not happy with the defence at all. I forgot to say, I think being the starts and goal as well. I think if Lemens, I need to see Lemens starting. I really do need to see that. I do think I need to see Lemens start today. It is from Ben Jacobs. It is from Ben Jacobs. So he's basically said that Jim Ratcliffe, Jim wants Southgate, and that's terrifying. That terrifies me, and it makes sense. It makes absolute sense to me. It makes absolute sense, because there is no other coach, I don't think, is available that would come in to take this side on. I absolutely believe fundamentally that Southgate is going to be the one. So for those of you who are Amorim out, I really want you to think logically for a second. Are we going to go down now? And I know we get bantered all of the time, right? Because, you know, we get bantered because, you know, we're going to go down and all this crap. We're not going to go down, right? I fundamentally do not believe that, despite how bad we're playing. We've got match winners in this side. So for those of you who are Amorim out, and I, again, whether you think that the system is right or wrong, I still don't believe it's the system, it's not the tactics. I believe what it is these players is they're not buying into this. They can do it. You know, they're not bad players, but they don't fit the system. I get that, but I think that they can do it. I really do think that they can. They just need to believe in themselves. You know, I can't believe I'm pandering to these players, but they need to believe in the system. And if they do that, I think we've got half a chance. Lawrence says, I think Southgate will do well in the Championship. Yes, I agree with you on that one. I think he is a Championship level manager. He took Middlesbrough from the Premier League. This is what people forget early doors, is that he took Southampton. He took Middlesbrough down as well. So if Southgate comes into this club, it will be pragmatic, it will be awful, it will be horrendous. And I think Amorim outers right now need to be very careful about what they wish for. Sir Jim, from a credible source, wants Southgate, and I think ultimately Sir Jim will have the ultimate say whether or not Wilcox or Omar Barada wants another manager. But just to think about this, we've now bought players, so we've got we'll have Ten Hag's players, we'll have some of Amorim's players. Now I know we have bought these versatile players, and I think I just think people need to be careful. Now, if Southgate goes on to win the league, whatever, he's not going to. But this proves to me that, again, Nice wasn't a one-off. INEOS have learnt nothing from Nice. Bringing Southgate in would be a disaster. And I'm with Scott. I would be Amorim out. And yes, I'm a hypocrite in terms of that, but I will be Amorim out from the first day. And I think the uproar of that will be horrendous. And I think at that point, I think the fan base would need to come together and march, because I just think it will be horrific. You're just a glorified crew in the Premier League. So again, I think that today we draw. I think it's really important that we win. I think we need to win. I think that I get it that Amorim is stubborn, but sometimes eventually the message will get through. These players need to know it's not player power. I almost, as much as I don't think Bruno is a number 8, right? I think he is a number 10. He's overstacked with number 10s. I get it completely, right? But I almost admire Amorim, and I should tell you for why. Is because he's sticking to his guns. He's sending a message to Fernandes that he's not the boss of this team. He will do what he says. He will play where Amorim says, or don't play at all. And it sends a message. It sends a message that this is what we're going to do. You either toe the party line or go away. And I think I admire that, because that's what we do need. We need a shift in culture. We need a change of the way we think. These players are just players. They're not. They don't have power. And I think this is where the cultural shift needs to happen. I think he needs to be given time. I don't think Sir Jim is convinced. Wilcox, to be fair to him, and Omar, I think they both can see it. They both know. You know, Wilcox spoke yesterday. You know, some of the things that he said. You know, I really like him. You know, he played 500 games. You know, he played for Blackburn. He won the league. I think he's a real football guy. He did his apprenticeship, if you like, as a youth coach with Southampton City. So he knows what he's doing. Do I trust him? Not yet. He's still learning on the job that I believe he is, but I do think that he's a football guy. But he come out yesterday, and I think he accidentally exposed his club. He said he's been here for 18 months. He was shocked that there was no cohesion between the owners, between the football inside, between the manager, between the players. That is horrific in itself. Imagine. It just goes to show, just one simple sentence for me exposed this club, exposed the Glazers again, that there is no cohesion. There's absolutely we're dealing with people in this club who are trying to run it like a business. I think another 1 or 2 rounds of managers coming in, and I think these people who were saying that we're going to go down, I wouldn't sleep on that. Not because I think that we will go down necessarily, but I think we'll be a mid-table team. I think we will ultimately in Southgate. So this is why I think we'll go for Southgate. And you tell me your opinions on this one. All right. I know Sir Jim has invested money into this club, but what you've got to realise is that Sir Jim has invested that money because this is an asset. This club is an asset, right? And this club is dying on its arse because of the Glazers. Now, when you buy into an asset, you need to bring your asset up, right? United is his asset, and he needs to spend money. Now, you're allowed, from an accounting business perspective, you're allowed to refurbish your asset, and the money that he's invested, he'll get tax breaks on it. So don't just think that Sir Jim is investing like all this money and this money's dead. He'll get tax breaks and all sorts of stuff on this money, right? And the reason why is because that money he's invested is because he knows, because it's going to happen, that we're going to get this new stadium, the regeneration thing is all going to happen, right? So that money that he's invested, the share money, the 1.2 billion pounds, the extra 300, so a 1.5 million pound investment, that's going to be worth 3 to 4 billion. So he's not doing it out of the goodness of his heart. He's doing it because he knows he's going to make money. So when this club builds the stadium, does all that land, this as a business, this club is going to be worth 10 billion. And I know people might think, well, why is that? Well, because not only are you going to have a stadium for football, it's a business. You're going to have a stadium that can host concerts, that will bring in people from across the world. It is going to be a multi-billion pound business every single year. So don't be fooled into this rhetoric that Sir Jim is here to save the club. He's not. He's here to steady the ship. And Southgate is that perfect guy, because what they want is they want a manager who can come in and consistently finish in the top 6. They're not bothered about leagues. This whole 2028 winning the league is bollocks. He wants Southgate to come in, play this safe football, which allows them time to basically build the stadium, and then after that, who knows? It will be an unknown quantity as to then what their expectation will be. So what Sir Jim actually wants is he wants a football team who will finish 6th. He doesn't have to spend money. He basically wants the Fergie model that the Fergie had towards the end. Was Fergie didn't spend tons of money, and he made do with the things that he got, and that's ultimately what INEOS wants. So Sir Jim is not here to buy the club. Sir Jim is here to invest in an asset, because in 7 years' time, when the stadium's built and the business is run, and because it's not just going to be a club, it's going to be a multi-commercial business, it's going to be an entertainment facility. This club is going to be worth billions and billions of pounds, and it's not going to be about football. It's going to be about entertainment. Imagine our football club, and yeah, I'm up for bringing in money to this club, but just the soul of this club is going to be ripped out. Have no illusion that there's a model in the States that you have to rent your seat, right? So they pay 13,000 just to rent this seat out, and on top of that you're going to have to pay the season ticket as well. So the broad cash or what has been banded around is going to be about £4,000 just to secure your seat, and then money on top of that. So this Southgate layer for me is just another layer on top. And it's really important to talk about this whilst we're talking about the game today. How many am I picking up today? I think I'm going to pick up about 2 today. Sadly 2 escaped, so you know I need to pick up another 2. So yeah guys, I mean, Southgate, let me know. I need you to really think about this. Those of you who are Amorim out, that is where we're going to go, Southgate. So I don't know if that you know, those of you who are Amorim out are dreaming of a Xavi or are dreaming of Zidane. It's going to be Southgate. I'm convinced it's going to be Southgate. It is a perfect Sir Jim. It's a perfect match. It's not going to be Pochettino. It's not going to be Pochettino. It is going to be Southgate. And I think we need to, this is why we need to get behind this manager. We need to get behind the project, because the alternative is going to be horrific. And I don't think Amorim outers have thought about this, is that it's going to be horrific, and it's going to be absolutely horrific. Amorim stays, why keep changing the... Exactly, Chris, I think you're right. This is what INEOS did at Nice. Imagine, right, you have a Ten Hag who plays a back 4, you bring in Amorim, plays a back 3, and then you're going to bring in Southgate. I mean, this is just another toxicity. This is just another move by INEOS and the Glazers. They have no idea. They have no idea. It will be, exactly, Lawrence, it will be the worst football that you will ever see in your life. So I think we need to be very, very careful. Now, I'm going to say it now. We have to get behind Amorim. Whether we like it or not, we need to hope that Amorim can turn this around. I think he will with the right support. And I think if people know the alternative, that is going to be Southgate. I think very, very quickly, I think Southgate will gather support, because he has to. Because if we don't, now it has to be Southgate out. It has to be Amorim out. Amorim in. We know we absolutely cannot allow any sort of indication or any sort of that it is going to be Southgate, because if that happens, then it's going to be horrific. So guys, check it out. It's Jacob Ben on X. Check it out. Ben is being fantastic. You know, people respect him. Yeah, guys, please do not forget to like, favourite and subscribe. It costs you nothing. You know, typically I would read out the chats if you're new to this channel. I try and read every single one out, but obviously I can't really focus on 2 things right now. I am a man and I cannot multitask. That's one of my flaws in life. So yeah, let me know. Chelsea, I think it's a 2-2 today. I am hoping that Chelsea will have a little bit of a hangover. You know, they've lost to Bayern. I do think the tactics that they've used today will be overload Bruno, overload the midfield. What's Amorim going to do? I want to see Amorim's response today. I want to see something different. I want to see Lemens in goal. I want to see Luke Shaw out. I want to see Manu in there. I want to see Bruno as a number 10. You know, I want to see all of these things, and I really want to see a response from Amorim today, and hopefully that will get that. So guys, I am going to go watch along today. I don't know if that's going to be possible today. I may not do a watch along today, sadly, because obviously I've got to be a dad today. I may do one. If not, I would definitely do a reaction show tonight. So yeah, hopefully it'll be a positive one tonight on that one. So I really hope that I can do I can do a match reaction show tonight, so that will happen. So yeah, so guys, I am going to go. Again, fantastic show. Obviously it's just been me talking. You know, it's not something that I normally like to do. You know, I do like to give you guys your chance to talk, so I can only apologise for not giving you that opportunity today. So yeah, so hopefully we can get a win today. Let me know in the chat, well, get into the comments. Thank you. Yes, it was ME. It was built by a sweatshop. So yeah, that's where we are on that. So guys, hopefully I'll see you on a watch along. If not, I will definitely do a match reaction. So tonight, that show is going to be about you guys getting your opinions. Get ready. I'm ready for another loss, as sad as that sounds, and that is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is going to be a. Yeah, it's going to be a bad one tonight. So let's just see. So guys, I am going to go. Have a good rest of your day, whatever you're doing, and I will absolutely see you tonight at some point. Have a good rest of your day, gang. See you later. Have a good one, and thank you for being here. So take care, and I'll see you very soon. Take care, guys.